All right, you guys, it's your girl Sandra D, the main event, and welcome to my channel and welcome to my community of love and unity. If you have not subscribed, what you waiting on? So we are continuing this journey of talking about the narcissist. So we will not be talking about hair and we will not be talking about food. So today's episode is going to be about why you guys had to part ways, whether you left the narcissist or the narcissist had to leave you. This is called AKA the discard phase. Now, let's just do a quick little recap. Now, when you met the narcissist, you thought that you were meeting this nice, wonderful person. And in all honesty and truth, you were. But what you were meeting and what they were actually showing you was how much of an asset that you are. Okay? They know that you got it going on. They know that you got it popping. They know that you keep it lit. They know this and they see this, okay? So they got to try to figure out how they're going to introduce themselves to you so that they can be on the same level with you and they won't show you who they really are, okay? So therefore, that's the mask. The mask is the cover up for you not to be able to see them as a threat. So when they're mimicking you, they're mirroring you, they're showing you how much of a great asset that you are because you know that you're destined for greatness, okay? They know you get the job done. Y'all remember that old school song? I go to work, baby. I get the job done. I work, baby. And they know this. And they're trying to see how they can be able to get your talents and your skills and your expertise on to what they want to be able to have in their lives. Because you got to remember, a narcissist doesn't know how to do the things that you do because they're not willing to do the work. So what do they want to do? They want to try to get supply to meet their demands so that they don't have to do the work. That's what they're trying to hire you for. Okay. Now, the second phase of that, after they sit there and introduce themselves, you're thinking you're on the same page, you're thinking you're on the same level, and come to find out that's not the case. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So you go out, you're kicking it with the narcissist, right? And they have you in this interview phase that you didn't even know that you were in. So now as you're kikiing it with them, you know, you letting them know your life stories, you know, and you telling them the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, the ups and downs of the things that you've been through in your life. Now you're sitting here thinking, oh man, this person sure is a good listener. Of course they are. Because while they're listening to what you're telling them as you're spilling the tea and you sipping it with them and you kikiing it with them, they are already scripting the perfect person that they're going to present to you in the love bombing stage, because this is still the love bombing stage. But before they can actually try to run this game on you, they gotta see what kind of information you're going to give to them so that they can script this character for you to actually fall for. Okay. So when you're telling them this and they scripting this person, you're like, wow, this person is amazing. This person is wonderful. Okay. But it is a character that they're actually portraying. Now they have to do this in order for them to be able to come into your world to bring you into theirs. Okay. This is something that they're doing in order for them to be able to pull the wool over your eyes. Okay. Now, after you thinking this person is so wonderful, making you feel like, you know, you the only person in their lives, they telling you they prayed for you, they gave you all kinds of tea, and you ate it up. You know, anime, you ate the cake. Okay. You ate the cake. Let's just be real. You ate the cake. So they know that you eating this cake. Now, as they're sitting over here love bombing you and telling you all these wonderful sweet nothings in your ear, what they're doing is actually getting, you know, to that side of your heart so that you will be open. Okay. So while you're opening yourself up, your walls are actually coming down. Now, at this point, you're not seeing that this is going to be a threat. You're not seeing that this is about to be a personal attack on your destiny, on who you are. You're not knowing this. And this is intentionally and on purpose because the narcissist don't want you to know. This is why they had to do that whole fake facade. This is why they had to replica. This is why they had to mirror you. They had to do all of these things because that's a part of their game. Okay. This is the narcissist game. And they pulled you into it with the fake love bombing. Okay. That's what they did. Now, once your walls came down, they got you wide open. At this point, what they really doing is pouring it on even more thick because they need to get you into a position to trust them. And then they need to get you into a position to where you're addicted to them. Okay? Because they know pretty soon they're about to pull the wool over your eyes and they about to take the rug and snatch it right from under you. Okay? You on that pedestal. All right. It's going to be like a roller coaster ride. You're going to go for a big old dip because they're going to drop you. Okay. Now, when they're doing this is because they need to put you on this timeout. Now, the timeout could have happened because they're going to go kick you with the other candidate, the other supply, the other trainee that they got to go ahead and run this same game on that they running on you. Or, as people like to say, you cause them to have a narcissist injury. That's bull crap. That wasn't no injury. Not at all. They already hurt. The only thing that they mad about is that they could not pull the wool over your eyes, the way that they was hoping that the plan was going to work. So what they were doing was throwing a fit. But that fit wasn't because you did something wrong because you questioned them. Nah, you gave them confirmation that the stuff wasn't working. So they was throwing a fit. Because what they was expecting for you to do is just like I had told you guys in one of my previous videos, what they were actually looking for is for you to be Vanessa Bell and coming to America, coming to the prince, getting ready to get married. Okay. And then he asked the question while he was getting ready to get to know the woman that he's supposed to be spending his life with, which was an arranged marriage. But the moral of the story is he started asking questions. The questions that he was asking for is, what kind of food you like? Okay. She trained, right? She was like, whatever kind of food you like. Okay. And then he was like, so you're telling me that anything that I come to you and ask you is going to be, you're going to do everything that I ask of you. And then she was like, whatever you like. So what wound up happening? He told her, bark like a dog. Where she go? Bark, ark, 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 ark. And then he was like, And then he was like, well, act like a ape, right? And she's going, whoo, woo, woo, woo. And he told her to hop on one foot. So she hopping on one foot, hand all up in the air, making these animal sounds, right? So what wind up happening? And the father walks in and he was like, I see you two are getting along just well. So what the narcissist was looking for was for you to be able to do everything that they asked and commanded you to do without it being an issue. Okay. Now, because that didn't happen during that, devouring stage that I like to call the timeout is when they was trying to figure out how am I going to be able to pull this off and still be able to go to this other supply that I got on the side. Because remember, narcissists, all they do is like bees going from one flower to the next flower to the next. Okay. So they got to figure out, are they going to continue to have you on timeout, put you on ice, put you on the bench, ghost you, if you will. Okay. And still try to see how they're going to run this game. Remember, I told you it was just like the movie Dreamgirls. Remember with Eddie Murphy and he was playing Jimmy and he was trying to get what I think her name is Loretta, one of the dream girls, that was in the group, and she turned him down. And then he was like, oh, I see this is going to take more time. Like, in other words, oh, this is going to take 2 weeks because he's calculating how long it's going to take for him to try to woo this girl so that he can control her. So this is what that devouring stage is all about, that time out. Or they about to move you into the next phase, which is going to be the breakup. Okay. Now we about to get there in just a second. But before they do that and they're kicking it with this supply, this is when he's telling the supply about you and telling them that, they got problems with you. telling the supply all kinds of lies that ain't true. In other words, what the narcissist is telling the actual supply is what he is actually doing to you, but saying you're doing it to him. Okay, so the supply is sitting over here eating it up. All right, so now he got one part of that phase already in motion. So then he's going around flying monkeys, family, friends, all these little smear campaigns that they're trying to do, so that when he gets ready to come back, this is when you're going to see criticism, shift blaming, you trying to figure out what the heck is going on, or they might just up and just leave, but there was still a smear campaign going and you just didn't know it. Now, when that narcissist sat there and did that, this is what they were doing on purpose. Now, the reason why they was doing this on purpose, it wasn't just because they're trying to kick it with the other supply. That's part of it. But what they were really doing was working on your emotions, working on your mind, on your mental, because what they want to do is break down, your self-esteem. Okay. They want to break down your confidence. Okay. They want you to be, addicted to them, but they want you to be addicted to the abuse that they're putting on you. So what winds up happening? You are like wondering, hey, what's going on? What happened to this wonderful person, that I was kicking it with? What happened to this amazing person? Okay, well, that was just a character that they were portraying because they had to be able to have you come into their world to take you out of yours. And then they had to knock you off your game so that you would not be able to see what they were about to do by wreaking havoc in your life and draining your energy. Because the behavior that they're giving to you is the behavior that they had already experienced as children. So they were rejected. Okay, they were abused. They were traumatized. So all these things that you're experiencing from the narcissist, these are the narcissist being able to relive these things. But the only thing that they're actually really trying to do is switch places with you. Okay, so when they're switching places with you, what they're doing is projecting all of that hurt, all of those childhood memories and wounds and things in that nature, because a narcissist does not believe in love, because they believe that love hurts, because the people in their lives that was supposed to protect them, that was supposed to nurture them, that was supposed to give them what they needed, as they were growing up, they didn't get. This is why they had to have that alter ego to protect them from them feelings, because they were hurt. So what they did is they go with this type of mentality that this is how relationships are supposed to work, because this is what happened to them. Okay. But what they're not understanding is that it's just not a cycle of abuse. It's a generational curse. So they're placing onto you their generational curse while they're trying to extract your generational blessings and ride off into the sunset and pretend to be something that they're not, which is why the relationship is not going to work, and it's going to end whether or not they ended it or you ended it. It was never meant to last at all from the gate, because I done told you guys that the narcissist cannot walk in your shoes, and you cannot walk in the shoes of a narcissist. A narcissist has to be able to heal from those childhood traumas. Excuse me, you guys. A narcissist is nothing but a grown adult that is still stuck in the past as a child. I'm going to keep telling you guys this. If you're dealing with a man, this is the Peter Pan syndrome. If you're dealing with a female, this is the Wendy syndrome. Okay? Because Wendy and Peter Pan, they were best friends. So I just need you guys to understand that when you went to the breakup, it wasn't going to last. And the narcissist knew that. But they wanted to try to weaken you as much as possible. Now, have you guys ever seen two different plants that's in a clay pot? And one of the plants is the one that's flourishing, but the other one is becoming weak. Well, this is what the narcissist was doing to you by draining you. They knew what you needed and what you wanted because you told them in the interviewing process when you was getting to know them, okay, and they was getting to know you and they was sitting over there listening. They was just listening to see how they were going to use the information that you told them about you against you. Now, when they were doing all of this, they were not just concocting a whole playbook of a plan on how they were going to run their game on you, but they also wanted to get you to be so distraught so that they could come back later on and do it all over again. But what they were expecting for you to do was to be a yes man or a yes woman. When they said jump, they want you to say how high. Okay, this is what they were doing. And they knew that when they had did this, that they were creating a trauma bond. And a trauma bond is something that's hard as hell to break. It really is. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to hoover you and watch and see how you was going to respond while you were like you were like a hamster on a wheel going over and over and over and over and over. They left you on that state on purpose. Okay. You guys remember that old school show ER? I don't know if it still comes on, but ER, and you got a patient that's flatlining and then they come up with this little gadget and they rub it together, right? And they have it at a certain value, okay? And it has this energy. So what wind up happening? They place it down, they rub it first, they place it down, they go clear, because there's going to be some energy that's going to be coming out, and the body once it goes, poof, that body is going to jump up and move. It's going to make movement, okay? What they do, still flat line, okay, they're going to come back again, do it again. They're going to say clear, poof. And then all of a sudden you hear that, boop, 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 boop. That's the heartbeat. So what they're trying to do, in that essence, is bring you back to life because they want you to believe that you need them. That love that they're giving you is love and not actually abuse. Okay, when they start gaslighting you or belittling you and telling you ain't doing this right, or what's wrong with you, they're doing reasonable doubt on purpose because they're retraining you. They want you to be all jacked up, to put you in a position to where you become codependent and that you're trusting them to lead the way. Because they just want to control you. So what you do, you thinking, okay, well, maybe I can trust this person. Maybe I am overreacting. That's what they want you to do. Override your intuition. Override those red flags. And getting you deeper and deeper and deeper into their deceitfulness of lies. A web of lies. Keeping you blinded, and all at the same time working on your heartstrings. This is what you're going to do when they leave and you didn't get no answers. They did that on purpose because they wanted to come back and give you a sob story, and you're going to believe it. Some of you guys are going to believe it. Why? Because they told you a sad story in the beginning during the love bombing stage. So they already knew how to work the heartstrings of your heart. They already knew how your mind worked and how to work it. That's why they had to do the love bombing. So that once you drop your guard, they was coming in, rearranging and working everything in their favor. So that whatever you did, you would come out looking like you was the problem and that they was the hero. Like you was a damsel in distress. And you just couldn't do anything on your own without them. But you was already doing it without them. They just wanted to come in and they just wanted to sit over here and be you. They wanted to try to steal your destiny. And they know that they could not steal it. And they only knew that the game was going to work for so long. But they was going to do everything that they could to rewire your mind, your heart, you know how you feel about a certain thing. That was all intentional to make you stir crazy. That was the game. So the breakup was something that they had planned anyway, because they knew that the trick wasn't going to last too long on you. Now, some people, it does work a little bit more longer, and it takes them time to figure it out because they're not understanding what's going on. But you knew something wasn't right. So you probably was the one that told the narcissist to kick rocks, or you just didn't say nothing at all and just left. Because he was like, I don't know what's going on up in here, but this stinks. And you was like, deuces. You was like, peace. You was like, sayonara. You was like, adios. Au revoir. Like, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. Okay? You was like the fat lady is singing, exit stage left, and Elvis has left the building. So the breakup was going to happen anyway. Whether it was going to be you that broke up with the narcissist or the narcissist was going to break up with you. And depending on how the narcissist played his cards, depending on how he decided how he was going to play this game, if he discarded you, he knew he was going to try to come back later to smooth everything over, and that you wouldn't be the wiser until you went through the abuse again. Then you probably started awakening and seeing, oh, okay, no, you can't rock me to sleep this time. I don't want none of your love potion. You keep that, because you're seeing them for who they are. But does that stop them from stalking you? Some of them move on, but some of them stalk you and think that they can come back years and years and years and years later and gonna think that you forgot. How you gonna forget an experience like that? And they want you to stay on their mind. Y'all remember when, what's the movie? What's Love Got to Do with It? And you seen how her husband was sitting over there treating her. And he was like, I'm up here, anime. I'm up here. I'm going to always be up here. That's what the narcissist wants to do to you. This is why they do the hoovers. You know, this is why they have the flying monkeys that be stalking you. This is what they do intentionally and on purpose, because they're trying to keep you in a trauma bond. But let me give you guys a little nugget. Even though you going through this process and you let go, you went no contact, you was like, I'm good. I'm not going around this mountain again. And rightfully so. When you leave and you're the one that says that you're not going to deal with this anymore, that's when you take control back of not only your destiny, but you got control over the narcissist, because that narcissist is going to be obsessed with you. And why is the narcissist going to be obsessed with you and you will always be on their mind? Because they want to understand how the hell that they could not keep you. They want to understand how the heck you slipped through their fingers and why their manipulation didn't work or pan out the way that they wanted it to. So not only do you take back your destiny, you snatch theirs too. And it's game over. And this is why the relationship was not going to pan out, because you can't have a relationship with a child, with an unhealthy person. You're destined for greatness, and don't you ever forget it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.